Hey guys, just want to start off by saying thanks so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. I love making covers, so having people watch them, it's awesome. So a lot of people have been asking me about how I record my covers, so I thought I'd make a video showing you just that. I'll show you exactly how I do my videos, and then I'll give you some tips so you can record your own covers with your equipment. But before I get into it, I just want to say this is by no means the best way to go about the process. I'm still learning, I still have a lot to learn, so if I've done something wrong or differently to how you do it, don't hate me for that because I'm still learning. So let's get into it. Alright, so here's my setup. There's my guitars, Schecter Hellraiser C1, Tokai ALC 50S, and Behringer El Toro Stratocaster copy. There's my amp, PB Bandit 112. I don't actually use that in my videos, but you could use an amp depending on how you're going to record. I'll show you how to use that. There's my Boss ME25 multi-effects unit. I use that for a lot of my earlier covers. I don't really use it now because I've upgraded to the UX1, but if you have something similar to that, that's great and you'll be able to get pretty good audio quality. So my guitar, at the moment I'm using my Hellraiser, plugs into my UX1, which is my interface, and then that plugs into my laptop via USB. And then I make my tones in Pod Farm, and then we go into Reaper, and that's where I actually record. And in terms of video, I use my GoPro, you can see it's charging there. And I made my own tripod out of a guitar stand, a bit of PVC pipe, and I use a pool noodle because it floats and I take it kayaking with me. And just the GoPro stand screwed into a bit of timber, and that's what I use to get different angles and whatnot. So that's my setup. Now let's go to the computer and I'll show you how I record. Alrighty, so now we're here at the computer. I've got Reaper open, which is my DAW. You can use Audacity, Sonar, GarageBand, Mixcraft, whatever you have. Just work with what you got. It's all fairly similar across all different types of DAWs, so try to follow along and hopefully this can help you. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is insert my backing track. And for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be doing the solo from Idols and Anchors by Parkway Drive. So I'll go ahead and insert that now. So search for that. And just click and drag it in. And now what I want to do is find the solo. So I'll drag this back to the start, add a little bit of a fade. Alright, so next up is recording guitars. I use Pod Farm through my UX1, so I can customize my tone that way. If you don't have Pod Farm or an interface, then you're going to have to record your guitar direct. So my best advice for that is to listen to the song through headphones and then record just your guitar sound, so no background noise at all. Experiment with different positions in terms of distance from your amp for your recording device. It'll vary depending on your setup, so just experiment with a few things. Don't have it too loud or too quiet because you don't want to have to adjust it too much in your DAW. So yeah, once you work out a way to record, come back and follow along. So the first thing we're going to do is insert 6 tracks, because that's how many tracks we're going to use to record this. So you can either right click and insert new track or just use Control T. Now you got to make sure once you insert these tracks that it's set to stereo. So I'll do that for all the tracks. And now I'm going to come down here and name my tracks. So the first one will be lead 1, and lead 2, harmony, rhythm left, rhythm right, and then rhythm center. Now I'll explain what I'm doing here a bit later. But basically that's just going to be all the different channels that I record on, just to make it sound a bit better, and then I can do my panning and mixing later. Alrighty, so from here the first thing I'll do is record my rhythm tracks. So I'll come down here to rhythm left and enable recording, and then come to Pod Farm, make sure my guitar's tuned obviously,
make sure my levels are right. So this is what my guitar sounds like at the moment. So that's my rhythm sound. It sounds pretty good. So now I'll come through and hit record, and I'll just adjust the levels. Hang on. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to record the first rhythm track. Save that, and then unclick record, and then mute that track, and then enable recording on the right track, and now I'll play the exact same thing again. So alright, so now my left and right rhythm tracks are recorded. I'll unmute them, and I'll pan the rhythm left 100% left and rhythm right 100% right. So now let's listen to it. Alright, so you can definitely hear that sounding pretty good, but to make it sound even bigger, what I do is record a third rhythm track, this time with a different guitar, which will be my Tokai, and a slightly different tone just to mix it up a bit, and I pan that one to the center, and I'll lower the volume a little bit, sorry. So then I'm going to change my guitar, slightly change my tone, and record that track, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so that's what my rhythm guitar sounds like, my Tokai. So now I'll mute these tracks just so they don't get in the way, and now I'll record the exact same thing again with a slightly different guitar and slightly different tone. Sorry, I started a bit too early. So there's my third rhythm track recorded. Unmute the other tracks, and now let's see how it sounds. So that's sounding pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with those rhythm takes. So now I'm going to mute those, and now we're going to move on to the lead. Alrighty, so I've just swapped over my guitar back to my Hellraiser, so I'll unselect the recording button on the rhythm track and enable recording on my lead 1 track. So now in Pod Farm I've swapped over to my lead tone as well, which is fairly similar to the previous tone, just with a bit of delay and reverb. So now, same process, I'll just play the leads this time, but I'll make sure that I mute the rhythm tracks so they don't get in the way and I can hear the main song. Alright, so let's do it. So there's the rhythm track, the lead track, sorry, recorded. So let's see how it sounds. Alright, so it's sounding pretty good. So now you'll notice it's a little bit quiet in the mix, so a little trick I learned. What you want to do is right click copy and then paste it in the lead 2 track and make sure it's in the same position. Disable snap and then pan lead 1 75% left, lead 2 75% right, and then zoom in here a bit and move lead 2 slightly back, just ever so slightly. And now let's listen to this. So that's sounding pretty good. Let's unmute the rhythm tracks and hear it all together. Now straight away you'll notice that the rhythm tracks are quite loud, so I'm going to turn them down. Alright, so that's sounding pretty good. So up next we have the harmony. So I'm going to solo the backing track and the harmony track, disable recording on lead 1, and enable recording on harmony. So let's find that. So it starts about there, so let's record. I'm just going to do another take. Alright, so that's a harmony. Now let's unsolo everything and listen to it all together. Alright, so that's sounding pretty good, but there's just a couple of mistakes I can hear in the lead track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it here and re-record that, and then I'll come back to you. Alright, so now we're back. I've just re-recorded a couple of things, made it a bit more tidy. So now let's have a listen to the finished product. So that's sounding really good. So that's just about finished. The levels are fairly good. If you're not happy with the levels, you can just adjust them down here. It's all trial and error. Make sure you get a good set of headphones or good speakers so you can hear what's going on. I recommend headphones though, so you can hear left and right panning. So yeah, once that's done, come up to File, Render, then choose what you want to call it. I'll call it Idols and Anchor Solo Audio, and hit Render. And then once that's done, we're ready to go on and edit video. So I'll close this down and get ready to show you how to edit video. Alrighty, so now we're in Sony Vegas Pro 11. This is where I edit my videos. So I previously recorded 4 separate videos, 2 different angles for the lead, 1 for the rhythm and 1 for the harmony. So the first thing I'll do is insert my intro. This depends if you have an intro or not. And then I'll just do a title. So insert text media. I'll call it Idols. Center it, make it a bit smaller. Make it a bit fancier, quickly. That'll do. Just make it a bit bigger. Alright, so now we've got the text in, just add a quick fade. And now we're going to insert the audio track we just created in Reaper. So I've got it here already, so just drag that down and make it so it starts where you start playing is just after the text. So you can see where it gets a bit louder, that's when I come in. So yeah, it looks pretty good there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is insert our video tracks. So I recorded mine on my GoPro. So there's the first one, drag it in. And now, when recording your video tracks, my best bit of advice is to make sure that the songs are audible in the background, so your recording device, be it a camera or a phone, actually picks up the sound. That way when you bring it into your video editing program here, you can see the waveforms, and it makes it a lot easier to sync it up. It'll save you a lot of time. Usually I'll just be able to match it up to 2 different songs, but it's a bit harder with this since it's only a solo, so there's not as, the waveforms aren't as distinct. Usually if there's a breakdown or something, it's a lot easier to sync it up, but I can still do this fairly easily. So I'll just mute this and find the spot where the guitar comes in. Alright, you can see it's just there, so I'll trim off a bit of this. Zoom in a bit. Put that there, like so, and then all you do is right click and delete that audio track there. And then you're just left with the video, and then you can mute that. Get your next one, drag that in, do the exact same thing. So I'll do the same thing for all 4 tracks and then I'll come back to you. Alrighty, so I've got all 4 tracks in their appropriate positions, they're all synced up with the song, and then I've deleted all the tracks that are attached to the video. So now we're just left with 4 different camera angles and our original audio that we recorded before. So now what you want to do is decide what angles you want to use at various times. So usually what I'll do is I'll click on the first track and play it through and press S at different times throughout the song. S is split, so that'll cut the track. So I'll press that at various times, and that'll determine when I'll change angles, so I'll do that now. Alright, so that's good. And now I'll just duplicate this on every track. Now, one thing to be careful of when you're doing this, make sure that you're not clicked on the audio track, because if you split that, it'll sound horrible. I'll show you. It like cuts out at that point, so be very careful that you don't actually split the audio track, because that's not good. And if you do, just hit Control-Z, or if you've done it too many times, just drag this back into Sony Vegas. Alright, so now that we've got all our cuts made, we determine which angles we want at various times. So I'm going to start off with this angle, which means I can delete all the others at that spot. And then I might go to the other one, and back to this one. And this is where the harmony comes in, so at that point I'll drag this up to the top, click pan, that little square there, click on the magnifying glass to zoom out a bit, and then just make this window a lot bigger, and then you can drag it around. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So then that'll come in for when the harmony's in, so I'll show you that. Alright, then we'll go back to the other angle. And then for the outro, we'll do split screen. So we'll get rid of this, and we'll just do these two tracks. So the best way to do split screen, hit pan and crop, and then come here to width and type in 3222, hit enter, and then just click on the window and start off by pressing to the right, and then I'll drag it all the way over to the left, and then do the same thing for the other one, 3222, but this time go to the left, which will drag it to the right. So now we have different angles at different times. Let's just quickly watch it and see how it looks. Alright, that's looking pretty good, so I'll just tidy up a couple of things. So have this fade in, I'll quickly copy this, come to the end, and change it to thanks for watching. And I'll add a quick fade on these. So that's the editing process for video complete. To render, all you do is File, Render As, I'll call it Idols Solo for Guide, and I use Windows Media Video V11 with Mac settings. You can customize the template if you want. That's for you to fiddle around with. I don't really touch it, but yeah. So then you'll hit render. I won't do that now because it will take about 10 minutes. So that's pretty much it. I'll post this video in this completed video at the end of this guide so you can see how it turned out. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. I'll post sneak peeks and interact with you guys on there. So I'll leave the link to that in the description below as well. So hopefully this helps some of you guys. Again, I'm still learning, so it's a long way for me to go. But yeah, even if I just help one person, that means this video is worthwhile. So thanks for watching. See you guys later.